everyone's okay. I hope everyone's doing their best during this lockdown. All right, what I'll do is I'll break my career down into certain parts and I'll try and make it as relevant as possible to you lot, man. I see a lot of young faces on here, so I'll try and keep it as relevant as possible to them. So I started playing Sunday football, a team called Addiscombe Corinthians. It's like you're probably experienced this, like park football, like the lowest level. I played that for a number of years and then I called it a stop for a little bit. I stopped because not necessarily, I wouldn't say I fell out of love with it, but I wanted to try other things. And I did a bit of a teenage thing for a couple of years. And then I got back into Sunday football again, a team called Downham Tavern. It's a local team in South London. And what happened is when I was there, we played against a team called Maidstone, a team that's very local to you lot, in a pre-season game, and I scored 2 goals. I was fantastic. I played like Lionel Messi that day. Yeah, I was unbelievable. From that, I got contacted by a couple teams, one being Greenwich Borough, a team, Ian Wright, I'm not sure if you're aware of him, Ian Wright used to play for, and they called me down to have a chat, and they offered me £100 a week, all right? £100 a week doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for me at the time it was, and especially for someone that was paying to play, to then get paid was fantastic. So I signed a contract. I'm not sure exactly how old I was at the time. I think I was about 18. For about 3 years, I was not doing that good. I was actually quite bad at football. I was spending a lot of time on the bench and I was making appearances. Then one particular year, I didn't actually mention this to the scholars earlier, but I think it's more relevant to you lot. I took it upon myself to get myself a little bit fitter and take a little bit more responsibility. That year, I went to a team called Eastleigh and I got a little bit of success. I was playing fantastic. I only actually played 15 games, I think, for them up until I got a move away to Southend. In that period, I went on trial at a lot of clubs. But I think for you lot to understand, I think that's not important. The important thing is I want you lot to understand that I was at a very low level and the transition, the hard work got me to a club that got me a move into the League One football, which is two leagues below the Premiership. That season we went on a run. From 1 week I was playing non-league football, the next week I was playing League One football. We got into the playoffs. I'm sure you're all aware what the playoffs are. It was exciting. It was very exciting for me because I was used to playing park football. Then went into playing in a stadium, 10,000 people. It was so exciting, man. It was great stuff. And from there I played like 100 games for them. I went to another team. We played in League One again called Dagenham and Redbridge. And then I came out of the game. A professional game, and I went into non-league and played another couple of years. And I got injured. All right, that injury I thought was a minuscule injury, not too bad, and it actually turned out that I had to retire from it. All right, the retirement affected me, man. It was a big thing because for about 8 years, football was my main source of income. Like your parents who have jobs, although I wasn't playing the Premier League, another thing that I want to drive home to young lot, although I wasn't playing the Premier League, being a professional playing football was my income. I hope that makes sense. So a lot of young kids idolize over the Premier League. And a Premier League is like the elite 1% that we all would love to play, all right? But don't be disheartened by not being in that small bubble, all right? And remember, it's opinions as well that gets you inside that small bubble. There's no fact, all right? Yeah, because you're very young. It's very easy to become disheartened, but it's opinions, all right? Albeit, man, we'd like to think that Mourinho's got a great opinion and all these people have great opinions, but they get it wrong. But also, if you don't make that into that bubble, there's loads of other places on the pyramid of football where you can fit into and make a living, like I did practically for about 10 years. I made a living just playing football. So I got some do's and don'ts. All right, I've changed it a little bit from the scholars, man. I think it's important I phrase it different for you lot. All right. These do's and don'ts are things that I think are fundamentals, which are like things that you must do to have any kind of career inside the game, all right? A lot of people play football over a short period of time and have success over a short period of time and then go on and do something else, right? That's actually the easy part. You just need to have a certain level of skill. But to sustain that success, sustain means to prolonged, to have a long period of playing football and earning money from it and doing it for a passion, you need to have some fundamental approaches, all right? First and foremost, I guarantee in this room, one of you is an elite player. One of you is doing better than everyone else. So one of you is considered the best, all right? My first one is never think you've made it, all right? I played with some fantastic, unbelievable boys when I was younger. I was not the best out of the boys that I played with, yeah? By the time I was 18, they weren't even playing football anymore. Became disheartened with the game. Everyone caught up with them. Never think you've made it. If you have time afterwards, go on Wikipedia. The majority of boys that play for England under 21s, who are the so-called next bunch of elite players, never go on to play for England first team. All right? So please, if there's a note you're going to make, never think you've made it. All right? Cristiano Ronaldo at 35 years old is still putting in the same work as a 17-year-old boy, or probably more work than you lot. All right? So if he's doing it, that's it. So that's the first big note you don't want to put down. Never think I've made it. All right? Make sure you've got that down. So that's a don't. A do. Do believe in yourself. All right? This is more important than the previous one. You lot should have this on your walls in your room. Believe in yourself. All right? Football is a harsh industry. All right? It's probably the harshest. You know why? Because the rewards are so high. Okay, if you make it, you make all the money in the world, and if you don't, it all comes crumbling down, right? During that period, on that way to the summit, you need a lot of self-belief, right? People will hurt you that don't mean to hurt you. Managers will tell you you're not good. They don't mean to hurt you, but that hurts, right? So on that journey, you need to have self-belief, man, and you should have that all over your walls. You should be having conversations every day. You should be working hard. And working hard is probably the most essential part of self-belief, reinstalling self-belief, all right? So please put that one down, man. Self-belief. Practice self-belief, okay? Next one. This is another don't. Do not listen to everyone, all right? This is so important. Do not listen to everyone. Uncles, aunties, parents, people on the sideline, fans, your friends, everyone's going to give you some advice on what makes you the best player. Oh, guess what? I think you should play left wing. Guess what? I think you should play right wing. Guess what? I think you need to cross the ball. I'm sure you're all used to that, right? Listen to me very clearly, all right? A lot of people giving you advice don't have a clue what they're talking about. If you're going to ask someone for advice, you've got two coaches in the room, qualified coaches, all right? You go to someone who's played the game. You got someone who's experienced. Stop listening to everyone. You know why? Because if you listen to everyone, you'll try to be for everyone and you'll end up being for no one. All right? Stop listening to everyone. Put that down. I want to see everyone writing them as well. Next one. Speak to the experts. All right? So it's a little bit. Do speak to an expert. If you ever get the opportunity to talk to a coach, ex-professional, someone who's played the game, you speak to them and you ask them as many questions as possible. All right? You know why? Because they've been there and done it. They've got the value. That's the value you want. If you want to be a professional footballer and you see a professional footballer, you ask him questions. You ask him questions until he says, "Get away from me." All right? You keep asking. If you speak to a coach, you see your coaches, don't just ask them, "How do you think I played?" You say, "What do you think?" You do it until you annoy them. You do it. Keep doing it till you annoy them. Say, "What do you think I could do better? Should I have crossed the ball? What did you think of that? What do you think I've done wrong?" People don't like hearing what they've done wrong. What you've done wrong is more important than, "Oh, was my goal good?" All right? Write that down. Speak to the experts. Write it down. I want to see everyone writing. I want to see everyone writing. Okay? Next one's another massive one. Do not fear failure. All right? Listen to me. Football, whatever you do in life, yeah, you're going to fail more than you succeed. It is massive, this, all right? You're going to shoot 10 times a game. You're going to miss 9.5 times, all right? Doesn't mean you shouldn't shoot. You keep shooting, all right? In fact, yeah, I would highlight him again. Cristiano Ronaldo is renowned for missing the target. He's for wild shots and stuff like that. But in fact, he's the most valuable player in history. Look at all the top athletes. I want you to have a look at Michael Jordan. Make sure you go and research them. They fail more than they succeed, but that's what makes them elite. They keep going. So do not stop doing what you're doing just because you've missed a shot, all right? Put that down. Do not fear failure. Do not put that in capitals. Do not fear failure. All right? Last one, listen in. I want you lot to realize when I use these words here, I don't use them lightly, okay? I'm using them because I've experienced it, all right? You lot need to be realistic. So I want you to be realistic, all right? If you are not working hard, if you do not have the right attitude, all right? If you're not doing the right things, you won't make it. So you need to be realistic, all right? To be a Premier League footballer, you are going to be the 0.02% of footballers on the planet in that elite bunch. To be a championship, 0.5, right? You need to apply yourself in the same manner as them. And if you're not, however you're applying yourself, that's what you need to, the bubble you need to compare yourself to. So be realistic. If you want to be a Premier League footballer, you act like a Premier League footballer. You eat like a Premier League footballer. You sleep like a Premier League footballer. Okay? Write that down. Be realistic, okay? Those are my little do's and don'ts. I changed it a little bit for the squad.